Hi, we are the team of pH and efficiency, and we are Andrés Martínez, Ana López, Eduardo Robledo, José López, and finally me, Mauricio Morán.
Our question was, what is the relationship between the pH of a detergent and its cleaning efficiency? For starting this, we decided to search the meaning of a soap and a detergent. And a soap is a cleansing and emulsifying agent, usually made by action of alkali and fatty acids, and consists essentially of sodium and potassium salts and such acids. A detergent are products that contain soap or other surfactants with surfactant properties, like wetting property, emulsion, breaking bonds between the dirt and its holder, and detergents may be in any form, liquid, powder, paste, bar, etc., and are usually used for domestic or industrial purposes. The differences between a soap and a detergent is that their chemical formula, soaps are produced from natural ingredients, and they're completely biodegradable. Meanwhile, detergents are synthetic derivatives, and they contain branched hydrocarbon chains that make them non-biodegradable. The variables under our first experiment was our independent variables were the type of detergent, the dependent were the cleaning efficiency and the pH, and our control were amount, type, and size of the stain, the type of fabric that we were using, the size of the fabric, and the amount of detergent we poured in the fabric. In the second one, the independent was the type of detergent, the absence of friction, and the dependent were as in the other one, cleaning efficiency and pH, and the control were the amount, type, and size of stain, the type of fabric, the size of the fabric, the amount of detergent, and the resting time of the fabric in the solution.
Well, we were talking about a possible hypothesis, and we were wondering if there was some possible relationship between the pH and the cleaning efficiency. And we formulated this hypothesis. The pH levels of a cleaning product will impact its cleaning effectiveness. If the pH of the detergent is higher, it will have a better cleaning efficiency. If the pH is lower, the cleaning effectiveness will be reduced. A higher pH will make the detergent a better neutralizer for cleaning substances. Well, the materials and equipment we used for this experiment were doubling fabric. We cut 6 pieces of 15 per 15 centimeters. Also manta fabric and Sidolino fabric. As always, six pieces for 15 per 15 centimeters. Popple garbage for the pH equipment, 200 grams. Knife, cooking pot, stove, 3 clear glasses, 9 recipients with a minimum capacity of 15 milliliters, syringe, and measuring cup. The substances were 3 types of detergent. We bought an expensive one, a affordable, and a biodegradable. We use Valentina sauce, or you can use any type of sauce you want, and a faucet for the water. The safety conditions for this experiment. Well, during the experiment, we recommend you to use safety gloves to prevent the contact with the detergents and constantly causing an unwanted reaction. We use face masks to ensure the health of team members. You must read carefully the instruction before making an experiment. You must be careful with ingredients also and the boiling points. If possible, you need a supervision of an adult in this experiment. You must not leave toxic substances in the reach of children. Be careful with sharp objects and don't consume the detergents.
So now of the pH meter preparation. First, with a knife, cut a quarter of cabbage into very small pieces. Then boil it into, boil a liter of water and put a piece of cabbage in the boiling water for about 10 to 15 minutes until the water is blue or purple. and let the water cool down, and then strain the cabbage, separating the vegetable from the water, and keep the water, obviously. And then when the water is cold, pour uh, 100 milliliters of cabbage water into the 3 clear glasses. Add 5 milliliters of one type of detergent in each glass, and then mix the water and the detergent together and see if it is changed colors. And finally, compare the water color with cabbage pH scale.
Once having evaluated the pH levels of each detergent, we would go to the first test, which consisted on analyzing the cleaning effectiveness of each detergent with the main factor of friction. And the next steps would be to cut 3 pieces of each fabric of 15 times 15 centimeters. 2, select 1 piece of each 3 different types of fabric, making a total of 3 selected fabrics. Then stain each of the 3 selected fabrics with 5 milliliters of Valentina sauce. Then, after staining the pieces of fabric, let the stain on the fabrics dry for 15 minutes. Then fill the 3 containers with 3 milliliters of water. After filling the water, then the pieces of cloth would be submerged in the water. Then put in 10 milliliters of one type of detergent directly on each piece of fabric and clean them by rubbing them with your hands for 2 minutes. After cleaning them, rinse the water each piece of fabric. Let them dry completely and then repeat the process from step 1 to 9 with the rest of the different detergents. After all fabrics are dry, compare each piece of cloth and evaluate their cleaning levels, and then register the results for each fabric and type of detergent used. After completing the first test, we would proceed to the second test with the main not including the main factor of friction. And the following steps would be to cut 3 pieces of each fabric of 15 times 15 centimeters, then select 1 piece of each 3 different types of fabric, making a total of 3 selected fabrics. Then stain each of the 3 selected fabrics with 5 milliliters of Valentina sauce. Then let the stain on the pieces of fabric dry for 1 hour. Prepare 3 solutions of 1.5 liters of water and 25 milliliters of detergent combined. Then submerge each piece of fabric on different recipients of the solution. Let each piece of fabric submerge in the solution for 2 hours. After the elapsed time, withdraw each piece of fabric from the solution and then rinse them with water. Let them dry completely and repeat the process from steps 1 to 9 with the rest of the different detergents. After all fabrics are dry, compare each piece of cloth and evaluate their level of cleanliness. Register the results of each fabric and type of detergent used.
So in the pH levels, first we determined what was the pH of every detergent with the cabbage water, and we saw that Bel Rosita has the lowest pH, then was the biodegradable detergent, and finally was the affordable that ended with 8.5 of pH.
Now, as previously described, we evaluated the effectiveness of detergents with the factor of rinsing them and cleaning them by hand. So it would be the main factor of friction. In the results, we saw that Bel Rosita and Charisma had almost the same types of results, as the stain could not be as much seen from before. And the instant clean, which was the detergent that was affordable, was less effective than those two. For example, the stain was notoriously visible, and the stain was almost removed. It can barely be seen. And in the third row, which was the sealing of fabric in the center, the stain was almost completely removed, but in the sides, there is still some sauce. We can clearly see that Charisma, which is a biodegradable detergent, and Bel Rosita, which is the expensive detergent, have almost the same effects on the types of fabric. Here we can see the effects that each type of detergent had with each type of fabric, and the results are almost similar between the biodegradable and expensive one. Proceeding to the second experiment, we'll let dry the Valentina sauce for 1 hour, and after that, we'll let the pieces of fabric submerge in water combined with detergent for another hour and a half without using any friction. The results that we saw was that Bel Rosita Expensive worked better than any other detergent, as the stain could not be seen as much as the other ones. Charisma was which is a biodegradable detergent, was the intermediate effect, had the intermediate effect between all of the fabrics, and Instant Clean which is affordable, worked better without any friction than in the previous tests. Here we can see that, for example, in Charisma, the stains work not as well. The effects that were seen were not as effective as it can be seen with Bel Rosita and with the Instant Clean detergent.
So after all experiment, we did an analysis of the results. We concluded that the Bel Rosita was the best detergent. The Charisma gave us regular results, and finally, the Instant Clean gave us poor results. Also, we noticed that our hypothesis was wrong. Having a higher pH didn't mean a better result with the cloths. Instead, as the pH level was decreasing, it gave us more quality. The cloths we also used, also made a difference in the experiment. Manta was the best one, and Sidolino the hardest one to clean. Finally, the time also made a difference between both experiments. We think that one mistake we made was that we washed ourselves the fabrics. Each of us used a different amount of force, so that could have made a little difference. We talked about using the washing machine, but it also meant a lot of wasted water. Some improvements we made were that we used the adequate tools, like syringes, to get similar conditions. Also, we used a bucket of water, so we could do the washing of the clothes more easily.
And finally, our conclusion. After carrying out this experiment, we determined that the type of fabric has an impact on the cleaning effectiveness. We saw that the Manta fabric showed better results than the others. Another important factor is the friction used in the process of cleaning. We noticed that the clothes with added friction at the washing were cleaner than the ones we just left sitting on water. We also noticed that another significant factor is time. The sooner the washing process begins, the better results are obtained. A proof of this is a clear difference between the fabric wash after 15 minutes and the fabric wash after an hour. At the end, Bel Rosita detergent ended up being the best. It had the lowest pH with 5.5 of pH, being a bit more acidic than the other two detergents. And that was all. Thank you.